So this part of the video is very important. There is a question type called not. If I come here, let's say after creating these questions, I want to
Mm-hmm.
group all these questions now um, to a particular group, because when
Okay.
I collect data, there's what you call demographic data, which is name, sex, etc. There's
Mm-hmm.
what you might call family data. We have different names. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say I want to group this data all together. This is what I'm going to do. For me, I'll prefer to first come here, select the note question, and then this note question now is introducing me to the next group. For instance, I can say, please, this next group concerns some marriage questions.
Mm-hmm.
These other ones, we were just trying to look at some other areas, we're not really into the marriage questions proper. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I will not necessarily put question mark. I can also say, please do well to answer honestly, because your data will not be shared publicly.
Okay.
Okay. Because one of the things you must know as you are learning this tool is data protection. Now, I'll say add question. I'll come now, look at what I'll choose. I'll now choose note. Now, you see that this note, when I preview this question, you will see that that note gives me another dimension. You see what happens here? You see what happened with that note, right?
Mm-hmm.
It gives me now an introduction. It gives me an introduction to the next groups of questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, again, I'll continue here just to show you that we can add question above another question, and we can add question below another question. So I'll come above this
Mm-hmm.
question because I want to do another note in the beginning of this our question. I'll click it again and I'll say, please, this set of questions are demographic questions. Do well to answer them correctly. Okay, that's it. Now I'll say add question, and then I'll come again, I'll choose note, and then I choose, and then I save. Now you see that if I preview my question again, you will now see that, you see, that's the introduction that I just did to the note question. So the note question type is to help you introduce your questions or introduce the next set of activity that you want to do as concerns your form. Now look at what I'm going to do now. I'll go to my machine and I'll hold the control button down, and then I'll be selecting these different questions. I'll select the first one, select the second one, select the third one, select the fourth one, select the fifth one, select the sixth one, select the fifth one. You see that I'm select. These are the questions that I want to put under that group that I want to create. I want to create a new group. Good. So I am satisfied now with the number of questions I want to put in this group. I will leave my control button. While I leave my control button, you see that all the questions that I have selected, you see that they have a round blue or green line. It's an additional green line showing that I have selected them. I'll now hover my mouse around here, and then while I was selecting this tool here became alive. It became active. It says create group with selected questions. I'll now click. Once I click, it gives me now this option. I'll now put the name demographic. Those some details are not demographic. This is just for the purpose of this video. And then I'll come and I say, you see that if I bring this down now, I have created a group. This is a group that I have created. So this group option is important because it helps you to organize your data. Organize it in such a way that you can create a long form but put it in small portions. It also helps respondents to understand what you are doing and also put the work in order and also create some appetite for them to answer the form. Imagine you just create 50 questions and they are just random, scattered here and there. Even respondent will be discouraged to answer the form. But when they open the part, they find few questions, they answer, they go to the next part, it makes it even more attractive for them to answer. Now this is the group that we have created. So if I click now and I click this form, you are going to see that this is the group. I can break it down. So this is our group. So we have these notes that we created at the beginning, introducing this our demographic, and then we have this other note that we have created, introducing the next questions of our married proper. This one.
Okay.
So I'll come now under these notes and I'll click the plus sign, and then I will now ask, are you married? I'll come now, we are going to choose select one because we want them to tell us yes or no, right? Yes or no. So I'll just 1, 2, and I'll save. The next question that will appear now, which other question do you think should appear?
How many of you are at home?
No, okay. I'll prefer that we just put, when were you married?
Okay.
Now you see that the date now will come in. You see that the date option now, this is how important it is around the questions. The next now that will create now, you say do you have children? You now click yes or no. Yes or no. Check and we now ask another question. We say, are you divorced? Yes. And then I want to put yes. You want to put the process? No. Because here now we want to see those that are in the process. Call them quick for counseling. You see now, but while you are designing your questions, you already have an objective, you already have an understanding of what you are collecting and why you are collecting the data. Because this data, like I said, is to solve your divorce problems. So, are you divorced? Yes. So you see that most people are saying that in the process. It means that you have to start calling them contact and see now you can solve the matter. Let's come also now add a question as a contact. What is contact? Here now, you see how we go to numbers now.
Okay.
And then here now, we'll now write another question. Why are you divorced? We are assuming that they selected yes, and then now they are saying this question now appears and you say, why are you divorced? You now put select menu. This
Okay.
now reasons for divorce is communication. B for divorce is money, debts, friends, and then let's put others now. Others. Now you see that we have now asked different questions. Different questions as far as this our question form is concerned. Again, and I'll hold my control button down and I select all these questions, and then I'll come here and I say create a group, and in this group now I'll say marriage questions proper, and then I save. You see that now we have, if I preview this form, we have two sets of questions now. The first one is demographic, the second one now is marriage questions proper. So you see that we have created more than 13 questions, but you see how orderly they are. So I can break this first part, and after I finish answering this one, and then I come to the second part. When I finish answering this one, I put it down, then I come to the second part, and then the first note question introduces this first set of questions. The second note question now introduces this second set of questions, and then I click evaluate. It says form contains errors. Is the ranking question that is demanding that we should answer it first, but it's okay.
Okay.